Welcome to Generates to place your bets. I'm Tyler James. He's the one and only Eric Hansen. We cover Notre Dame football, recruiting, and more for InsideNDSports.com on the Rivals Network. And we love to make Notre Dame football prop bets for bragging rights. The Insider Lounge flexed its collective muscles on us, Eric, and had a clean sweep with a 5-0 record last week for the UNLV game. Pretty impressive performance from the message board on InsideNDSports.com. Their skepticism was placed in the right spots. They took the under on Drew Pyne's completion percentage and the over on UNLV's red zone trips. I actually missed both of those, and in addition to those, you missed Notre Dame's rushing attempts. And I want to brag a little bit. I picked the rushing attempt. I put the line for the rushing attempts at 45.5. And it was at 47. So that was a pretty good line, if you ask me. That's becoming so close.
So I missed Drew Pyne's completion percentage?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure I had that under, but I must have been drinking last week if I picked that over.
Well, I will revisit those.
Okay. I think we need to either check the math or at least check that one.
We can check that out.
Okay.
Given these contested standings, this is where they're at. If I have this correctly, the Insider Lounge jumped into a tie with me for the lead following its 5-0 week. Eric is just a couple points back in the standings, and I think it's a pretty tight race so far. So, per your request, Eric, I've added a lighthearted prop bet to the list this week. We won't include it for the purpose of our season standings, but we can use it to highlight something fun on or off the field on a weekly basis. So, comment below if you have suggestions for future prop bets, and let's make some prop bets for Notre Dame's road trip to the Dome at Syracuse.
Okay.
First one I have for us, Eric, is over under 125.5 offensive yards for Syracuse running back Sean Tucker.
Well, if whoever decided to give Sean Tucker only 5 carries last week is still in charge, it will be under, but I don't think that that's going to happen again. He's one of the best running backs Notre Dame will face this season. And I think they're going to give him the ball a lot in this game. He's also their second leading receiver. And Notre Dame also has had some problems with coughing up big plays to even pretty average running backs like they did in the UNLV game. So with all those things said, over for Sean Tucker.
All right, I am in agreement. I think that he will hit the over. I don't trust Notre Dame's defense right now to limit a running back that can impact a game in multiple ways. He's averaging 130.6 offensive yards per game, so I think he'll be able to get close to that average again and hit the over 125.5. Next one I have for us, Eric, is over under 2.5 sacks for Notre Dame's defense.
Well, Syracuse gives up 2.5 sacks or a little bit over that, 2.57 sacks a game. Notre Dame, Isaiah Foskey's really coming on with his sacks. But I think this is going to be a weird game, kind of similar to North Carolina, where there's a really good running quarterback. And I think Notre Dame's goal isn't so much to sack him as it is to pressure him, but still maybe spy. And so I think he's going to get some short gains in those pressure situations rather than being sacked. So I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go over. I do think that the scramble concern is there, but I think there's going to be just a lot of highs and lows. There's going to be some of those scrambles where he gets away and gets some yards, but Notre Dame's also going to be able to corral him for a few sacks. So I'm going to go over 2.5 sacks. I like the way the pass rush is progressing, and it certainly needs to have a big week for Notre Dame to have a chance to beat Syracuse on Saturday. All right, next one. More passing attempts. Syracuse quarterback Garrett Shrader or Notre Dame quarterback Drew Pyne?
I think, independently of playing each other, Pyne would normally have more passing attempts than Shrader. I think Shrader's going to show off his versatility in both the run game. He's their second leading rusher, and Tucker's going to get the ball a lot for Syracuse. I think Notre Dame's going to be behind in this game, at least in the first half, and they're going to have to come back in the second half if they're going to win it. So my intuition, and hopefully this is recorded correctly, will be Drew Pyne.
All right. Yeah, I'm with Pyne as well. He averages 28 passes a game. Garrett Shrader's 25.4 passes a game. That obviously includes a Wagner game for Garrett Shrader where he completed all 17 of his passes. So he's been very accurate as well. But to me, it more or less comes down to I'm not sure that Notre Dame's going to be playing from the lead as well, similar to you. So I think that they're going to have to pass. And Drew Pyne's going to have to make some plays in the passing game, they're going to be forced to make him make some plays in the passing game as well. All right, next one. Over under 4.5 receptions for Notre Dame wide receiver Lorenzo Styles.
Well, I asked Tommy Rees about Lorenzo Styles and kind of what was going on with him this year and his hopes for what he was going to look like in his last 5 games. And he admitted that he probably needs to get to him earlier in the game to get him going. However, I don't think this is that kind of game. I think that if Notre Dame is going to win this is going to be the Marcus Freeman identity game where Notre Dame's offensive and defensive lines win this game for the Irish. And I think there's going to have to be a lot of running. So I just don't think Styles is going to get those opportunities. Also, I think Syracuse's pass defense is good enough where they can scheme up Michael Mayer and Styles and kind of force Notre Dame to throw it to its backs and to Lindsey and to Jaden Thomas more. So I'm going under.
All right. I'm going over. Lorenzo Styles has only caught more than 4.5 twice this season. He had 7 catches against Marshall and 5 against North Carolina. Tommy Rees's comments about getting him involved more often, I think, will hold true because I think there will be some easy opportunities to get him the ball. Notre Dame can create those and try to get him some yards after the catch because I think that is something that Lorenzo can be good at. So I don't. It's not going to take a lot of great throws from Drew Pyne to be able to get to him early. And then, as I indicated previously, I think they're going to have to pass a bit to stay in the game. So I'm going to go over 4.5 receptions for Lorenzo Styles. Next one, over under 9.5 penalties for Syracuse.
Well, the orange is, or the orange are, however we want to do the subject verb agreement there, the most penalized team in the nation at 9.57 penalties per game. So that's a perfect line, Tyler. It seems like Notre Dame is one of the lower teams in terms of penalties per game. And it seems like in the games in which they play that their opponent kind of holds down the penalties too. I just don't see where they're going to get 10 penalties in this game against Notre Dame. They're not going to be pass interference penalties. So I'm going to go under.
Well, they had 12 against Virginia and 10 against Clemson and 18 against Louisville in the season opener. So getting 10 is not something I'm putting past Syracuse. I'm taking the over. They just have not been a very disciplined team in terms of penalties this season.
18 in a game they won by 24 points. That's
amazing. I know. It's incredible. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I mean, even against Wagner, committed 8 penalties, and you wouldn't think you committed that many penalties against a team that you're clearly better than. So I just think that's something Syracuse does a lot and will continue to do on Saturday. All right, next one. Will the broadcast mention the time Dino Babers kicked a field goal against Notre Dame when Syracuse was getting shut out in Yankee Stadium in 2018?
Well, I will say that they won't mention that Dino Babers kicked a field goal, but Babers had Andre Schmidt kick a field goal. So that's the one I'm going with.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think the game
he's 11 of 12. I think he's going to kick field goals in this game, and I do think it's going to come up. That's why I think Andre Schmidt will be mentioned.
Well, yeah, I definitely think Andre Schmidt will be mentioned, but I'm not sure that kick specifically or the decision to kick the field goal will get mentioned because I don't think the game is going to be played out in a similar way where Notre Dame's blowing out Syracuse and Syracuse put some points up on the board to try to get something respectable on the scoreboard. So that was one of the funnier moments, I guess, that that I can remember an opponent doing. It's like, really? That's what you guys are doing? It was, I mean, I felt embarrassed for them. It's like, seriously, come on. It was like, who
It
came
was
here
like bunting in a no-header.
yeah, who came to Yankee Stadium to see Andre Schmidt kick a field goal when you're getting shut out? Like that's not what anyone was there for. So I don't think they'll bring it up just because I'm not sure that they'll want to bring that up because it won't necessarily have a lot of parallels. Other than that, Andre Schmidt still is the kicker for Syracuse. And lastly, Eric, what is your final score prediction for Notre Dame Syracuse?
Boy, I went back and forth on this. And now that I saw I was 2-3 in my predictions last week, I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. There is a path to victory for Notre Dame, and I don't think it's a particularly narrow path. I think that they have to follow the script of running the ball a lot and being good at it, doing what Clemson essentially did when Will Shipley kind of ran all over Syracuse, and it was kind of a surprise. And then Drew Pyne is going to have to really limit his mistakes. He doesn't have to be spectacular. And then Notre Dame's front seven is really going to have to step up. And I see that could happen. The variable that scares me is putting my faith in thinking that Drew Pyne will play much better than he did against UNLV, because it's going to have to happen. But I'm going to go with all that. I'm stalling. I'm going to go Notre Dame 24, Syracuse 23. My original prediction was 23-20 Syracuse, but I changed it when I decided to be daring.
All right. Well, I appreciate your daring. We will see if that pays off. I have Notre Dame scoring the same amount of points at 24, but I have Syracuse scoring 30. I just think that Notre Dame's going to have some difficulties slowing down the Orange. I don't have enough confidence in Notre Dame's ability to sort of control the ball to sort of limit Syracuse's opportunities or consistently hit with explosive plays. So I think that Syracuse is going to win this one and put Notre Dame in a not exactly a great spot with Clemson coming to town the following week.
It's an orange out, Tyler, but I think Notre Dame has to just make sure there's not two orange outs in a row that Clemson fills Notre Dame Stadium up.
Yeah, I feel probably just as confident that there's going to be an orange out in 2 weeks as I do that there will be an orange out in Syracuse, because I imagine there's going to be quite a few Clemson fans making their trip up to Notre Dame, with some Notre Dame fans who aren't pleased with how the season's going, that have turned their tickets in and making a profit.
Especially since they didn't get to come up in 2020.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's it for this week's Place Your Bets. Comment below your score predictions and which side of the prop bets you're on. If you have any grievances similar to Eric on previous prop bets, let me know. If you are an Inside ND Sports subscriber, make sure you log your predictions on the Insider Lounge. If you want more video content from us, like this video and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you turn on your notifications, because then you can be notified when we are going live on Monday for Monday Night Live to review the Syracuse game. And then we will have another video next Friday for the Clemson edition of Place Your Bets. Good luck.